Hello there. Just checking my audio video, opening up my chat. Just wanting to make sure that we are live with hello there. All right. We are live very much. And we are here in the episode number 80, just got 20 more steps, and we'll be done with 100 successful episodes on emotional intelligence using brain skills. Before we go into the other segment, I would like to ask if you are a person who um, is not, who's emotionally stressed, holding back with from your success because there are strategies that doesn't seem to work for you at all, especially when you are under pressure. When you struggle to make that calm, confident business decisions when you're under pressure, it's going to be a killer for entrepreneurs out there. And that is the initial start for a burnout, because that's where decision making is very, very crucial for entrepreneurship. And if we take uh, multiple attempts of taking a bad decisions, bad choices reflect huge on our profit and balance. Not just that, around the people we are working together. So it is important to be able to, as an entrepreneur, how are you emotionally agile so that you can work under pressure, and so will be your choices. Because if you're stressed, you may lose focus, and without much attention to details, you may lose many aspects to be considered. And that is essential for an entrepreneur to have a 360-degree of focus when they are into a business, whether it is referring to the past trends, the patterns and the mistakes, learning from it, or looking at the present reality, what is needed, and even future in terms of adapting to future technology, future market demands. So it's like a full coverage. An entrepreneur, anybody who's working with such critical business or any situations, we need to have that emotional agility in us to be able to, even though it is pressing, you need to have that skill set to work calm within you. So despite of chaos around you, even there is a tsunami, you need to be able to take that call, right? To safeguard yourself. So that survival instinct is more, but at this present day and age, we also are dealing with a lot of stress from external environment. It's not just the natural calamities is not the only ultimate stress, but day in and day out, we deal with a lot of challenges around us. So how are we going to navigate those challenges and be able to establish ourselves? So that is what we are going to see. And what is the skill set that is more important for you to enable do that? So today's episode will be answering you three game-changing lessons that you will know how to change, how to stay calm under pressure, and how to turn all the setbacks into success, and how can you make smart business decision without emotional bias. So I want you to warmly welcome to this emotional intelligence series of 100 days to unlock EQ using brain skills. And my name is Brinda Kalyan Raman. I'm the founder of EQMQ business model. And I'm on a mission to help 1 lakh women achieve that freedom from time, stress, and debts using emotional intelligence and digital entrepreneurship. So with this, this entire series is dedicated to help you improve emotional intelligence in any walks of life. Initially, I started for dedicated this entire series to moms, but looking at the engagement, looking at the questions that I was asked in few episodes, I understand that there are different walks of life. People who are watching this episode will also be able to relate to what we want to say. So I accordingly changed the examples. I accordingly changed the structure based on that. So let's see what we have got for today. Let me share my screen, and we're going to be talking in depth about how can you develop emotional agility as an entrepreneur. So when it comes to emotional agility, the ability to adapt to challenges and manage stress without being overwhelmed by emotions is a generic way to deal with it. You need to understand the keywords here. One is the ability to adapt to challenges and be able to manage stress without being overwhelmed also. You know there is a crisis, you know there is a situation where you need to, you know, take action, because you just cannot, sometimes you don't have to act on everything, you just have to observe and see what is going on. But then most of the times, even that inaction is an action that you choose to do. Okay. So how are you doing it is what is more important. Are you like panicking along with the panicking situation, or are you calm under those things and very focused to see what is actually needed for the next step? So that's the whole thing. Now, for this, this is what is going to help you as an entrepreneur to be able to navigate those uncertainties, market challenges, and failures with resilience. So if you have this, you're going to be having a rational decision making while maintaining that emotional balance. When you are panicking, when there is a situation, crisis situation, obviously the emotions will erupt. Amygdala is hijacked, not only within you, also around you. Maybe it's because of other people's amygdala hijacked. They are actually pressurizing you as well. In that situation, how can you be balanced? How can you control that activity going on in your emotional centered brain to be able to bring that focus to rational data, the logical, part of it? That's exactly why I say emotional intelligence is the blend of both the logical data working in you and then the emotional brain, creative brain working in you. Only when there is a blend, there is actually emotional intelligence. On that note, let's see how is the brain approaches for you to enable this emotional agility in you. One, the left brain approaches this way. It helps you analyzes the business risk logically, reducing impulsive decisions, encouraging structured thinking and problem solving to pivot strategies effectively. The right brain approaches by building emotional resilience to manage stress and setbacks. Okay, enhances empathy in leadership and helping connect with employees, customers, and partners. So this is all it is. So the left brain keywords are, it helps you analyze business risk logically, reducing impulsive decisions. Okay. The right brain approaches this way. It helps you build that resilience so that you can bounce back. Okay. To be able to manage the stress in that situation, and also empathetically you can help connect with employees, customers, and partners, because you as an entrepreneur, you are a natural leader. If you are a solopreneur as well, you are a leader for your client. You are leading them. And suppose you have a team, you also have an additional responsibility of leading your team as well. So you need to, despite of it's so counterintuitive, right? You're already stressed out. The business is in fire. How can you still be able to empathetically connect with your, team members? But that's what is important. If only you're able to acknowledge the fact that entrepreneurship is not a bed of roses journey, right? Anything can happen. And how are we prepared for it? And how are we going to forecast for it is what is matters. So the key message here is success in business is not about just strategy. It's about emotional mastery as well. It is so with any kind of success, especially when you're dealing with people, it is important to take that emotional mastery experiences or emotional brain hacks as well, so that it's going to give you that kind of data which you cannot ignore. Especially when you're dealing with people, you just cannot ignore their emotional brain. Okay, entrepreneurs who develop emotional agility can handle setbacks, stress, and uncertainty with confidence. So benefits of emotional agility is handling anxiety and business failures without losing focus, and then clearer decisions, preventing emotional or impulsive mistakes in business choices, and then better relationship, improving team management, customer relationship through emotional intelligence is also a key thing. When emotions happens, around people around you, it also happens within you also. So there's equal amount of concentration that you need to give for the emotions erupting in you also. So it is important to have a better relationship within yourself. So that is why emotional intelligence starts with self-awareness, and then market adaptability also. Pivoting more easily in uncertain and market conditions is also important. Cost of emotional rigidity. So it is being said that when you have when you don't acknowledge or when you cannot adapt to a new situation, there comes the time where the brain is so hardwired. In fact, this entire series There are certain areas that I keep reinstating, or the series itself will help you rewire slowly. You just cannot, rewire something which you have hard coded in you based on your brought up, based on your education, based on your association so far. How long have you been practicing a particular pattern? It just cannot be hardwired, rewired immediately. So it is important to have that kind of flexibility even when you're emotionally dealing. Because when you are so rigid with your emotions that you cannot empathize, or you cannot, I'm talking about emotional brain competencies, that you cannot take risk, you cannot acknowledge the situation or accept a person, uh, or you are not grateful, you just cannot connect with people and collaborate with people's energy, uh, then these things will have its own cost. Let's see what is that. Emotional exhaustion. High stress when facing business setbacks leads you to burnout. Now, impulsive decisions, making choices based on emotions rather than logic, damages the business as well. Okay, that is also there. That sometimes your impulsive decisions are coming out of that, that erupting, that amygdala hijack activities. But when it is an actually balanced emotion, it is actually going to intelligently drive your performance. So make sure that it is not that only leads you to, have a memory of failures after failures. Because when you take impulsive decision, maybe it can work for 1 or 2 times, but it's not a long-term process. And then comes strained relationship, creating tensions with employees, partners, and customers. That is also something that, it is important to avoid. Because when you are dealing with people, already there is a panic around you, and you're, when you kind of demonstrate that with your team, then it is going to add up to their tension as well. And it is also important how your team is able to handle it. So it all depends on, as a leader, how are you able to communicate it, and how are you able to train them to be able to handle this situation. Again, all that is matters. Then comes recovery difficulty. Making bounce back from business failure to market turndowns is little harder for any entrepreneurship. It is easier than said. But how much are we prepared, and how much are we agile? Agility comes with a different set of components in it. Agility means a person is already prepared. Agility means a person is in action. Agility means a person is quick to adapt. See, you see, past, present, and future is, compiled in it. So at that note, when the person is agile, then a bounce back rate within them could be higher. So the impact of emotional agility could be: without agility, fear-based decisions, higher risk stress levels, and quick burnout can become common. But with agility, staying calm, making smarter decisions, and thriving in uncertain markets will be easier. Research-backed Harvard Business Review found emotionally agile entrepreneurs are 35% more likely to succeed long term. Real world example could be problems: business owner panics during financial downturn and makes impulsive cuts. So this could be a real time problem, right? Because when they feel there is a downturn, the first thing that we all do is cost cut. Then comes the result: long term growth damaged and team morale destroyed. So this could be the result affecting their long-term longevity of the growth, because by the time, maybe an AI disruption can happen, or it could be a adaptability issue for a business to pivot. Because right after pandemic, during pandemic, people didn't know that a lot of business drowned down because they didn't know the other way to deal with their customers. People who also adapted to technology, they had a hybrid model right now. They don't want to lose the customer that they already got through digital world during that span of time. And now all those corporate people, although they want those employees to come back to their location, but there has been a cost cut done during that, period, where they relied that this location center need not be there, that infrastructure has been cut down. So now for them to rebuild again, it's going to be difficult. So it's better to adapt to hybrid, where they allow their employees to work from home and also come physically to work. So that way, it is good for a long-term business goals to, to pivot into a long-term business goals. Alternatively, emotionally agile owner analyzes situations, makes strategic adjustment as well. As an outcome, business emerges stronger with a loyal team and sustainable model as well. So who benefits most of that is like when it comes to entrepreneurship, first is startup founders. So handling market uncertainties and funding challenges requires emotional stability. Small scale business owners managing stressed customers and daily operations demands emotional balance. And then freelancers and solopreneurs balancing multiple roles and clients require emotional regulation as well. So more beneficiaries could be corporate entrepreneurs, CEOs, investors, all benefit from emotional agility when making high-stake decisions while managing emotions. Now, this is more interesting. This is where we're going to see where are we actually applying emotional agility when it comes to business format, and what could be the brain hacks in it. Okay, let's see. Managing business setbacks. Challenge. First thing is startup fails to secure funding round, right? And second thing is emotional agility. Founder processes that disappointment without letting it define them. It can be a real-time situation. Am I right? Then comes action. Re-evaluating pitch improves business model based on feedback, and then resulting, return stronger and securing fund in next round. So that could be a classic example of how a startup founder was able to rebound. Now, it could be there could be a brain hack to it. Now we would like to see how this process is going on in their brains, like what kind of brain skills can they use to be able to adapt, because not every startup founder is able to take that disappointment without letting them define them, so they will be disappointed. In that case, what can happen is all you're going to do is reframe thinking. This is your right brain effect. So first thing is old mindset, seeing failure as an end point and personal reflection. So, for example, if you are new to digital business and you're a camera shy person, you're trying something hard. Even for that matter, this 100 day series, it may not be as successful as I want it to be, or it may not be as successful as how others want it to be. It's totally fine. As long as I build that necessary habit of coming in online, day in and day out to complete this 100 days, that is going to build confidence in me. Second thing is when the more I going to be talking about my subject matter, it again going to bring a lot of confidence in me, and also it reflects back to the customer that I have a subject knowledge. And the third important thing is I would have, by the time I finish 100 days, the camera shyness is already gone, right? So it's going to be in my muscle memory. The moment I just switch it on, I'm just going to be in the flow. So similarly, all you have to do is, it may not be the same for everybody. So you're just going to reframe those thinking patterns. Recognize emotional response, but don't let it control those action items. It is okay to recognize your challenge area, attaching to that emotion. It could be an emotion of guilt, shame. It could be scared. It could be, something to do with dreading fear. It's fine. But unless and until you take action to be able to overcome that, it's never going to end. It's just going to be occurring. So it's totally okay to recognize your emotional response, but then don't let them control you. How can you do that? Only by taking action. Okay, take that imperfect action. And then new mindsets. View failure as a lesson and necessary step forward to success. Then comes decision making and risk assessment. When an entrepreneur, what are the areas that you can apply emotional agility during decision making as well? And decision making also comes with some kind of risk assessment. The entire series, just before emotional agility, we saw about risk assessment. Close to about 6 to 7 episodes we dedicated only for risk tolerance. So in terms of how a person can, build risk tolerance, and how do you manage the risk. First of all, how do you assess the risk assessment? And these are skill set. There are a lot of brain hacks discussed in the 6 to 7 episodes, angling to different walks of life. It could be one for parenting, risk assessment. What kind of risk as a parent that you can take, and as an individual for personal growth, as a entrepreneur, and as an individual for investment. So, and even as a child, as a student, like what kind of risk are you even taking as a student, right, for your career development? So it'll be a nice, quick glance that you would like to go back And in case if you want to watch those episodes from the previous one, we started off with a lot of other key brain skills: resilience, emotional insights, collaboration, problem solving, proactivity. All these are important for an entrepreneur, not just an entrepreneur, for everybody. But pick up those episodes for entrepreneur. You will be getting it done in few episodes itself. Okay. So where are we going to apply decision making? And then how are you going to apply this emotional awareness? First is building that recognizing feelings without judgment. Okay. Then comes logical analysis. Examine those facts and data objectively. One is to recognize those feelings. Something is upsetting you. Something is bothering you. It is giving you data. Then you will start analyzing, okay, what is the pattern? What is the thought process? And what is the logic behind it? Why is it bothering me? Then you look at the data point, right? And then you arrive at a balanced decision. Combine that emotional insight with logical reasoning. For example, in a business situation, okay, when deciding whether to expand their business or not, emotionally agile entrepreneurs analyze the risk logically while staying confident in uncertainty. You see, dealing with uncertainty is a huge terror, right? Because we don't know what will turn out. Not all risk that you take, to deal with uncertainty could be success. There has to be a logical approach, objective approach. As much as you're fearful, you just cannot let the fear take over your actions. You're going to let it happen. How? By using those logical data. Always lean on your logical data when in fear. Okay. Then brain hack for you to plan it is pause, process, and plan. So first thing is pause. Take a step back before making any critical business decision and then process it. First is pausing. If you can just break that pattern by mindful pause, that's the best thing. And then process it. Identify emotions and separate them from factual analysis. And then plan it. Create action steps based on balanced emotional logical assessment. That's all is needed. So first thing is break that pattern, pause it by mindful pauses. It could be a deep breathing, or it could be just standing up from your place and just taking a walk, looking at something else, like, after 2 3 hours of something, deeply that you're thinking, go back to your basic senses, like list out, 5 things that you hear, 5 things that you see, 5 things that you feel. It just gives your brain a sudden pause. Or just count, backwards from 10 to 1. It'll take few seconds. So in that few seconds, 6 seconds is what technically the brain gives you gap to choose what you want to do wisely. Then process it, identify those emotions, separate them from factual analysis. Then create a step with based on emotional logical assessment. Don't leave either of your data point. Then handling your customer feedback. Okay. So first thing is, when you're dealing with customer, especially when they are upset, it's going to be a different way to deal with them, right? You don't want to lose their customer. At the same time, you want to also make sure that you are protecting your loyal brand. How do you do it? First, receive the criticism, accept it. It is coming from customer, and customer is always king. Treat them that way. Then you can always tell, what are your sides and all that. But then first receive that. Bad review or complaint arrives, you just receive it. Okay? Without denying it. Then comes emotional detachment. Now that you received it, don't attach your emotion there. It's not affecting you, first of all, right? When you are in a customer care of a particular, company, it is not about you. It is about the product or the line of business, okay, or the experience that has been delivered. It is definitely not a one single person's job, unless you are a solopreneur like me, like other people who are digital entrepreneurs or any solopreneur jobs, because everything is on them. So I would rather say I'm addressing those solopreneurs more than the people, bigger company, because they have team to work. So it is this solopreneur who will have this challenge of mixing up their emotions, because it is coming out from them. So it is important to see feedback as information and not attack. Okay. So feedback for improvement and not attacking. Professional response. Address concerns with empathy. Now, after you can see a problem objectively, the next step is to take action, because without action, um, the customer will have to just choose another vendor. So if you're able to receive it but not act on it, that is something against your integrity. You're going to address concerns with empathy, understand where they are coming from, and then be able to implement changes if required based on the feedback. If there is no improvement, it is just that they are not able to understand, maybe work on your empathy and make them understand what you already have. All right. So the brain hack here is to have emotional detachment. This is your left brain. Even though there is a word called emotional, there's something called detachment. So it has to have a boundary, a distance. Okay. When receiving feedback, train your brain to process criticism as valuable data rather than personal attacks. This mental shift transforms defensive reaction into growth opportunities. How are you going to do this? So let's get one step deeper to understand what could be the hack here. Observe without judgment. Okay. See feedback as neutral information about your business and not as a reflection of your worth. Okay. It is just the business. Maybe your your business is just 1 year or 2 year old, or maybe just few months old, but you are not that young. Your experience in your way, your expertise could be higher than what you're doing for implementing on your business. It definitely should be higher, right? So it is not on your expertise or on you as such as a person. It is only on that business being rendered. So that only means there is a whole lot of room for learning. Extract actionable insights. Focus on what can be improved rather than emotional response to criticism. So we're going to focus on what can be improved rather than emotional responses to criticism. All right. So instead of dwelling on the emotional words, when they are in pain, when they are disappointed, words may vary. Okay. Out of all that due respect, all you're going to do is don't pick up the keywords on emotional responses. Instead, pick up the problems, right? And then implement strategic changes. Use this detached perspective to make calculated improvements that strengthen your business. So it is also important that use this detached perspective to make calculated improvements that strengthen your business. Do not leave that bit, because all you're going to do is every feedback is important. It's never a silly one. Okay. Then managing teams and relationship together. Firing employee could be a situation. Let's talk about it. What could be a emotional response? Firing employee, it's going to have a lot of mixed responses, right? There could be a guilt, anxiety, there could be some panic, there could be disappointment, huge disappointment. Am I right? The agile approach is empathy plus clear boundaries. Although there could be some, very harsh or very deep remorse coming from the employee, but you as an employer or as a leader, you need to be having both these together, because that is why it is important to be in that kind of a leadership. Whether you are working for a corporate or you're a CEO or an entrepreneur yourself, it is very important when you deal with such kind of situations, you need to have both the brains together. Okay. Then team conflict. So there could be frustration, there could be stress, there could be ego clash. So again, mediate without taking sides, neutral approach, right? uh, your decisions could be that's a different step, but then your approach in terms of dealing with the people, your decision can always be dealt outside the room. You don't have to really decide anything near them. If so, then we are taking sides, so it has to be a neutral approach. Then partner disagreement. So the first thing is defensiveness, am I right? That's why they disagree. Then there is ego clash, and then there is an anxiety, right? First listen first and then respond second. So that will be the mantra. All right. And there has to be a turn also. It's not only you listening. They have to be, there has to be a give and take. Then the hack here is empathy plus boundaries. Let's see how we can go that one step deep in it. Balancing compassion with professional distance when managing relationship is highly, highly important when it comes to business or work or profession. This dual approach allows you to connect authentically while maintaining necessary objectivity. Okay, balancing compassion with professional distance is very, very important. How do you do this? Lead with empathy. Acknowledge others' emotions and perspective to build trust and understanding. It is very important to take that time. Listen first and respond second. So take that observation, acknowledge their emotions, validate them. Okay. They are there for their reason and it is about them. When you want to talk, let that be the first reason. Okay. Then establishing clear boundaries. Define appropriate limits that protect your personal judgment and emotional well-being. So you're going to, inform them that this is the timeline or this is the, agenda with we're going to work. And over and above, if they need something, ask them. So again and again, bring back to those boundaries that you have to operate because at the end of the day, you're also a human being. It is important to have your professional judgment and emotional well-being protected, not just for the other, it is also for you. Okay. Then maintain the balance. Regularly assess interactions to ensure you are neither too detached nor too emotionally invested. Very, very important. So regulate your own perspectives as to whether you're too detached or emotionally invested in any person in any ways. If you're biased, then it is very important to put that boundaries during that decision making. Only then you are emotionally intelligent. Otherwise, it is going to be one-sided and it could be a wrong decision at any point of time. Then comes scaling and entering new markets. This could be a situation also in entrepreneurship, right? How do you handle this? First thing is experiment, testing the strategies in new market. For example, if you are a solopreneur, especially digital entrepreneur, you're trying out some product. So test it out by giving a free trial run. And once you get the feedback, you're going to learn, gather all the data without emotional attachment. Even if it's going to be something which you are not expected, anticipate that. Because as an entrepreneur, you're out there to learn. You're giving them for a test is only to receive their feedback, not to get what you want to hear. Okay. And then adapt, refine approach based on feedback. Grow, scale successful elements as well. It is important that we need to be able to scale in those elements where we think we have no clue about it. So all these data that you are getting from feedback and criticism and all from your survey points from your customer is definitely going to give you those points. So entrepreneurs launching products in new countries, staying adaptable by testing different strategies and refining their approach without fear of failure is more important. Then a brain hack for this is to adapt a growth mindset. Transforming how your brain responds to challenges by embracing a growth mindset that turns obstacle into opportunities. Very, very important. So viewing obstacles as opportunities instead of seeing obstacles as threats, recognize them as a valuable opportunities for development and innovation in your business journey. Experiment and learn continuously. This powerful mental shift allows entrepreneurs to experiment boldly, learn from lessons, and pivot strategically when needed, replacing fear of a failure without a focus with the focus on improvement. Because that's what entrepreneurship journey is all about. Before you perfect something, you got to have done a lot of experimentation. Building lasting resilience. By training your brain to find value in both success and setbacks, you'll have to develop resilience that sustains your business through market fluctuations and competitive pressures. Okay, that basically requires for you to bounce back. If you cannot have that resilience, both logical, you need to be able to jot down, analyze what data that you missed, and you should be able to adapt. And also emotionally, you just cannot bog down. That cannot define your, that cannot shape up you who you are. So you need to have that emotional detachment, go back to those brain hacks and adapt uh, and then bounce back like a pro. So this is the first set of episodes that we did in this series, how to build resilience in you. Then overall developing emotional agility could be to practice emotional detachment, step back before emotional business decisions occur, reframe failure as a learning. Every setback is an opportunity to refine your strategies, stay open to change, embrace market shifts with a flexible mindset, regulate stress levels, use mindfulness before taking high stake decisions. Now, it's about a case study. We're going to be talking about Elon Musk, none other than this person right now shaking the world. His one word will be so powerful, it has a huge impact. How has it happened? It's not an overnight thing. He, as a person, has been working on a lot of projects which determined his market leadership. And those projects are not something that, which can be easily driven. It's all highest of highest standards. In fact, I keep repeating this in few other previous episodes as well. So Elon Musk, I knew about him, sometime in 2001 or two when PayPal, right? Somewhere even not even that time, around 2004 or five is when I came to know about PayPal itself. Even before that, it existed. So PayPal, that itself was very unknown, right? Was a very radical thinking as to how a person can pay on email. So the digital payment was something very new for me in those days. Back then in US, it's already in reality. So this happened, and then the Tesla car came, right? So when he owned PayPal, I think there was a merger and acquisition. He got PayPal, and then he moved. He moved out of PayPal, and then used all the funds to fund Tesla, right? Now Tesla has gone into bankruptcy around 6 to 7 times, it seems. Every time there is a failure, there is a setback, they bounce back using their own cash reserves and funding and all those, and also technically improving it. Because bringing an energy based car driving in your city is not a common dream. It's something that he worked in a totally unknown and future segmented market. So which is of no guarantee that he could be successful. And despite of it, it has gone through bankruptcy as well. There could be many areas that you would have stopped, but then it's still going on. Right now, Tesla has come to India as well. So having a country like this with the very less infrastructure facilities, not unlike UK and Europe roads, uh, despite of it, it has come to India is something huge, right? And only shows about what kind of mentality, what is the brain power that this person and his team and his leadership teams work along with. And not to forget to mention that SpaceX. Now, Starlings and all that are coming, bringing space accessible to mankind. Imagine the level of failure that they can go through. So these people take those projects which are for sure 80% failure. That's what he mentions this to one of the journalists. So that amount of risk these people are into, and that is why they are leaders and successful in what they are doing. So when we touch upon their brain skills, I understand that left brain skills is more about risk assessment and strategic decision making, which is helping Musk evaluate complex business challenges. And for his right brain skills, his emotional resilience and visionary thinking, allowing him to persist through multiple near bankruptcy. I just told you. So Tesla and SpaceX, and even for Amazon, Jeff Bezos, AWS, from e-commerce when he transitioned a very key transition to computing. Computing was totally new, brand new for the untapped market segment. So they had not seen the profit for more than 6 to 7 years. Only now it's become $1 billion company. So it has its own gestation period. So Musk's ability to stay emotionally agile in high stakes situations helped him build multi-billion dollar companies against all odds, right? So, classic example of what could be a person mentalities when it comes to risk tolerance as an entrepreneur, and what amount of resilience that they should have, and what amount of emotional agility. He may be having a team to work with, but then he's the main person who has to he's the face of everything, right? Whether it is funding, getting investment, or running it successfully at the face of customers and global market. So brain skills are very, very important to note down. So top brain skills demonstrated could be resilience, faced multiple near bankruptcies with Tesla and SpaceX, yet pushed forward. Adaptability pivoted business strategies to survive major setbacks in both companies. Vision maintained long term focus despite short term challenges and skepticism. So, the key takeaways could be here: decision quality 30% is important. Entrepreneurs make better strategy choices with improved emotional awareness. It is very important to take that bit also. How are you feeling about this particular agreement with or your partnership? How are you feeling when you take up this project? So that is what is going to determine your decision quality. And stress management, emotional agility significantly reduces the burnout and improves resilience. Okay. So, for you to manage your own stress, it is very important. Team relations. Leaders build stronger, more productive relationship with staffs and partners. That is also important. Market adaptability. Businesses pivot more effectively when entrepreneurs respond rather than react. So, businesses to pivot, it is important when entrepreneurs respond rather than react. They just cannot panic along with the situation. They need to have that kind of a super skill in them. Despite of tsunami, they stay calm. And for you to be that way, to stay calm under pressure, emotional agility is the key skills that you need to look forward. So that is going to be having a weightage of 15% for your market adaptability. So people would like to look up to those leaders who have survived through all those hurdles, right? And recently I heard Canva CEO talking. The founder of Canva had insisted the same thing. At one point of time, I think multiple attempts for not getting her, investment on board. She was, there were multiple corners of time where she even thought to quit. But only at the eighth attempt is when she got her investment. Investor, she found that investor. Right now, Canva is a $1 billion company, right? So similarly, work-life balance. Entrepreneurs maintain that healthy boundaries between personal and professional. A very key important thing. Although it is holding 10%, it is very, very important not to get burnout. Because emotional agility will help you balance that emotions in you, which is erupting, because there's a crisis happening in you. It's not quite easy for a human being to handle. Despite of it, if you're working it out. Now, on that note, there should not be any residue. So you should be able to recover, and you need to give some time for your body, for your family, for your brain, for your mental state of mind, for your emotional state of mind to be able to bounce back like a pro, to be able to manage all this crisis. So you need to have that work-life balance also. So emotional agility impacts multiple aspects of entrepreneurial success, with the greatest effects on decision quality and stress management. So at this point of time, if you have questions like pressure response, how do you stay calm and rational under pressure, business pressure? And do you even see failures as lessons rather than setbacks? And can you separate emotions from critical decision making? Do you adapt quickly to changing market conditions? And if there are more questions like this regarding emotional insight, emotional agility, I've got a gift for you called EQ quiz bundles. So there is a quiz for every episode that you're going to be watching. You can quickly assess and look at your score, where you stand. And from there on, there will be extra tips given to you from what could be the right way to handle. So not just this episode, the quiz also will give you that awareness. And it can be taken any number of times. Maybe you're right now, your score could be really bad, but it's okay. You know the tips, areas of improvement. And let's say after 6 months' time, you want to come and take the same thing that you've been working on, you will see your scores getting high, and any number of times you can take it. And for all episodes, imagine for somebody to give you that kind of a treasure, it's definitely a treasure. It's going to take a lot of time. But what I've done is I've compiled all that and given to you as a bundle. So it's coming to you as a bundle. All you have to do is engage under this episode with top 3 insights that you've heard, either from this episode or in your own experience. How are you facing your pressure? And how are you generally? Do you have see that balance in you already? If that is so, just give us a statement. Give us one few words. How do you handle? So that will be a great boost for me. And I'll take that as an engagement, sincere engagement. And I'll give you this gift free of cost. All you have to do is there's a link below, click on it, and it'll ask you to register. You don't have to pay anything. You just have to put your comments, and I will give it to you as a gift. So all you have to do is just engage as comments, and this gift is out there for you lifetime. Apart from this, I also have a special gift for women for this month, exclusively only for this month. We are running Insta Lives. This is my Instagram page. I will give that as a link. There are Insta Lives happening between women entrepreneurs, where we are celebrating womanhood as well as empowering empowered women who are empowering other women as well. So the entire month we are celebrating, and every Insta Live, I bring 2 guests. So it's going to be a trio. So all 3 of us will share gifts for our women audience. Okay, you could be a mother, you could be a a coach or a consultant or a business entrepreneur, or you could just be a student, a girl, working on your academics and your career building, or you could be a working professional. Make use of this gift. It's going to be out there free of cost only till March 31st. Use that. My gift over there, along with other gifts, other guest gifts, is a workshop exclusively for women about how to automate your business and life using EQ and AI. Okay. EI and AI playing a huge part in our lives and business. So make use of this. There's going to be a free workshop only for women out there. All you have to do is fill this form, and the moment you enroll, you will get an invite. And from there on, we will take it next step. Apart from this, there are also other resources free of cost available for you at any time. Jump in. If you still haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, do so that you'll be notified. And you can also, watch out for the previous episodes. And that will be a huge, thing that you want to do for rewiring your brain. It's going to be a treasure. And after a few days, the entire folder will be pulled out and it will be out there for my community people, exclusive access. So click on it and register wherever it is possible so that you take this for your use. And then I'm on Instagram doing Insta Live, and there are reels on emotional intelligence, and there's also blog post. There's LinkedIn for you to connect with me. So plus this entire episode is coming like a podcast, a very shorter version of 20 minutes of the same episode on the fly, on the go. You can listen to the podcast, just an audio format. So all of it are available for you to make use of it. It all needs is just one step for you to take that action and also be able to balance out, or first of all, build that emotional awareness and be aware of your emotional responses, and you balance it out. That is what is important for entrepreneurs in this day and age. Gone are those days where business failures are seen like a taboo. It's no more that way. It's everybody are failing, but they're failing fast. That's where it's a differentiator. So if you're not emotionally agile, you are getting doomed. You're not going to, bounce back quickly. So go through all these episodes right from the beginning, or pick up those episodes relevant for entrepreneurs alone. You will connect the dots better. I'll see you in the next episode.